So the ego mind categorizes relationships, but one of the things the Course in Miracles says is that there is no love but God's. Because remember, who a person is lies beyond the body. That's really the whole point here, is that who we actually are is spirit, not body. On the level of spirit, we're all perfect. On the level of the body, we all make mistakes. Now, the ego mind wants to always focus on the body, and the Holy Spirit wants to focus on the truth of who we are. So forgiveness is a very interesting concept because real forgiveness goes beyond and is very different than the traditional notion of forgiveness. Because the traditional notion of forgiveness is that you are your guilt, you are your mistakes, but somehow I'm so spiritual that I will be willing to forgive you. The esoteric, miraculous mind, the miracle-minded perception of forgiveness is very different than that. It is the realization that you are not the level of yourself that makes mistakes. There's the self with the little s and the self with the big S. If I relate to you on the level of your mistakes, then I'm going to judge you, and I will be led to attack you, and I will be led to defend, which the Course in Miracles says is an attack. Forgiveness is when we are willing to extend our perception beyond what the physical eyes see, beyond what the physical ears hear, to what the heart knows to be true. Now, the ego says that somehow if I tell you how wrong you are, this will somehow correct you. This is not how it works. And so often we make this mistake in relationships and we think, well, I was just told them what I really think, or whatever it is that we think was our authentic sharing. But if people don't feel a basic affirmation from us that they're good and that we appreciate them, they're not going to hear us. And that's why the Course in Miracles says, your job is to tell your brother he is right, even when he is wrong. And that doesn't mean to tell him that verbally, of course, if he did something foolish, but it means that we communicate non-verbally to someone, that we affirm them and we appreciate them. So our job is to be responsible and take responsibility for the heart space between us and another person. Commune is inside the word communication. So sometimes we go, well, I really communicated. But if we communicated our anger or our judgment or our attack, no matter what we said, people are going to be like this. That's not the way to have a relationship. The way to have a relationship is to always make sure, and once again, it takes discipline and it takes practice. The Course in Miracles says the primary responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the atonement for himself. The atonement means the correction of our own perception. So before I go telling you where you need to be different or judging you or attacking you, dear God, please show me the innocence in this person. Please show me the innocence in this person and remind me that the only reason I am here is to be an instrument of love and blessing in their lives, their life. Within that, you might have something to share, but it will come across as a sharing and not a criticism. It will come across as a sharing and a gift rather than an attack. You know, this is the principle of nonviolent communication, because we're all so fragile. And sometimes we're so clear how sensitive we are, but we tend to forget how sensitive other people are as well. And that includes men as well as women, by the way. We're all just very fragile beings. And so much of relationship conversation today has to do with who we attract and what we want in other people. But the spiritual conversation around relationships is, who am I? If you're standing in the space of your true being, you automatically attract into your life relationships that vibrate along the frequency of the space you're choosing to inhabit. That's why the main work is always on ourselves. That's why in the Course in Miracles it says, you think you have many different problems, but you really only have one, and that is your separation from God. When we are with God, that's the same thing as saying we are in the state of love, then we are in a place where we automatically invite happiness. Happiness then becomes our function, which is the same thing as saying forgiveness is our function. Our function in any situation is to see the truth in other people and to affirm that truth in other people so that they have an easier time seeing it for themselves. That's that namaste consciousness. And this is true whether you're talking about your child, or you're talking about your spouse, or you're talking about your employer, or your employee, or your lover, or your friend, or anyone else. Forgiveness is our function here. Now, it might seem to you like, a love affair or a marriage, oh, that's not about spirituality. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this interview from the Commune podcast, then click subscribe and check out this video right here.